Welcome to Fly Tying with Whiting. We've got another live view session for you tonight, and today we're going to be tying the Lifecycle of Callibaetis. This is a great mayfly series of patterns that works for our most prolific mayfly on most of my area lakes. I'm Phil Fisher. I'm coming to you from Central Oregon tonight, and we have a number of really good Cascade lakes in our area, including Crane Prairie and Wickiup and Hosmer and East Lake and Lava Lakes and so on and so forth, most of which sport excellent Callibaetis hatches. And so this is one of our most important series of mayflies throughout the late spring and early summer, midsummer, and often extending into fall until the snow flies. We'll have Callibaetis hatches pretty reliably. Our hatch on East Lake, which is probably our best Callibaetis fishery, happens in starting in early June, and it peaks in that late June, early July time period. And it's an excellent time to be here and fish Callibaetis. I'm going to tie a whole series. I'm going to start with a nymph. I'm going to tie a soft hackle. I'm going to tie a two cripple patterns. I've got one that's a unique kind of bad haircut cripple, I call it. It's a pullover cripple, and a Quigley style cripple. I'm going to tie a paradun, and lastly I'm going to tie a spinner pattern. So join me and tie along as we experiment with Callibaetis. So before we get started tying, let me introduce the materials I'm going to use across this series of patterns. A lot of the materials I'm going to use are common to each one of the Callibaetis life cycle pattern. So let me start with a hook. I'm going to use a fire hole 718. This is a curved shank, 2x long, a little heavy wire hook. That I like a lot for my nymphs. It sinks and gets down nicely. So we'll use that one for the nymph patterns. I'm going to use a fire hole dry fly 419 hook for the dry flies that we're going to tie today. These are both competition barbless hooks. I use barbless on almost all of my fly patterns nowadays because it's just gentler on the fish to release them. For the abdomen on all of these patterns, I'm going to use a Spirit River turkey feather. I'll use the leading edge biot for some of these patterns, and I'll use the trailing edge of the feather for some of these patterns. And so I'm going to show you how we use that on the different patterns as we move along. For the thorax, I'm going to use a Callibaetis super fine dubbing. This is kind of a light grayish olive dubbing that I like for my Callibaetis, and I'm going to blend that with a little bit of UV ice dub, and this UV ice dub is in Callibaetis, and it adds a little life signature to your patterns, and I found it really effective. You know, I'm going to rib some of the biots with wire to add more color, but also to add strength to the pattern, and so you'll see me use that. I'm also going to use a Danville tobacco brown thread in 6/0. This is a flat wax thread that I like for my Callibaetis. The rest of the materials I'll introduce that are unique to an individual pattern, and particularly the whiting hackles and feathers that I'm going to be using. I'll introduce those as I get ready to tie each pattern, because I'm going to use different materials on each fly, or different whiting materials on each fly. So let's get started tying. I have broken up this hour-long program into individual segments, so please, the next one in the series is tying the nymph, so tune into that program. Thanks for watching.